Hello and welcome to the kitchen. Today we're going to go over the basics of bread making as an introduction to our future bread making videos. So first we're going to go off the basic ingredients that you would need for a bread recipe, right? So we have 4 categories. We have flour, a leavening agent, other, and then special additives that you can put to make your breads a little more special. So we have the normal all-purpose flour. Everybody's probably heard of that, right? It's just a white flour that's had everything sifted out of it, right? And then we have a whole wheat flour that has the entire wheat kernel still intact. It's usually a brown color. We have self-rising flour, which is all-purpose flour with a leavening agent added so that you don't have to add it yourself. We have einkorn flour, which has a weaker gluten structure, so the requirements to bake with it are a little different. We have corn flour or cornmeal. We have gluten-free flour, which can range because most gluten-free flours that you buy are a mixture of a bunch of different flours. We have hard and soft wheat flours. So the hard and soft is a description of the gluten profile. So soft wheat has soft gluten, weak gluten, and then hard wheat has strong gluten. So hard wheat is what you want for breads, soft wheat is what you want for baking. We have rye and spelt and other whole wheat flours. And then we have sprouted flours, which can really include any of these flours. Just the only difference is before they are ground, the wheat is sprouted, dried, and then ground. So then we have our different leavening agents. We have yeast, which can fall into 3 categories in a recipe. We have commercial yeast, which I'm sure you've seen in those little packets in the grocery store. We have a sourdough starter, which is wild yeast that you have essentially caught in a flour and water mixture in your own kitchen. And then we have a sponge, which usually has a very, very small amount of commercial or wild yeast that sits overnight so that it can grow more. Then we have baking powder, which is baking soda with the acid already added in. And then we can add baking soda and we can add our own acid such as lemon juice, buttermilk, or whey. Other ingredients that recipes could call for include salt of different varieties. We can include butter or margarine, oil, that can include olive oil, vegetable oil, sunflower oil, many different kinds of oil, which we'll explain in the videos when we do those breads. We can add eggs, milk, dry milk, and different types of sugars. So then we have the extras that we can add, special additions as I've called them, spices and herbs, cheeses, different types, oats, chocolate, to include chocolate chips and chocolate pieces and cocoa powder, craisins, raisins, and other nuts and seeds and dried fruits. So these are the basic ingredients that any bread recipe could call for in these 4 categories. These are some of the breads that we are going to make on this channel. We will make multiple breads in each category, but I wanted to give you an overview of what we're going to go over. We'll start with the easiest breads and work our way forward so that no one gets overwhelmed and we can all stick through this together. So our first and most essential bread for most households is the traditional sandwich bread. We can split this into white bread and wheat bread. We can learn to make both. Soaked breads, which include the sponge leavening agent that we talked about before, they're a little easier to digest than the traditional white or wheat sandwich bread. We have Irish soda bread, which uses baking soda as the leavening agent and is a lot faster than a yeast bread. We have a multigrain bread, which can include an oatmeal bread, a rye mix bread, a spelt mix bread. We can do sprouted grain breads from the sprouted flour that we talked about before. Dessert breads, this can include cinnamon rolls, banana bread, and different breads like that. Something that includes sugar. Our artesian breads include ciabattas, hoagies, baguettes, Italian breads, and different breads of that nature. Our enriched dough breads, such as brioche, challah bread, and other milk breads, usually include eggs and milk to enrich the dough. We have specialty grain breads to include einkorn, spelt, rye, and other breads, including hard wheat and soft wheat. We can do pizza doughs. We can do thin crusted or deep dish. And we can go through those together. Other breads that we will learn to make here are cornbread, tortillas, biscuits, rolls, and pita bread. So these are some of the breads that we're going to learn to make together. We're going to start with the easiest breads and work our way forward so that nobody gets overwhelmed. If you ever need a reference back to this video or any other videos, they'll all be available for you here on YouTube. This is going to be our bread making introduction video. Our next video will be the sandwich bread video, as it's the most basic bread that every household should know to make. Hey guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified of all the upcoming bread videos as soon as they come out.